When Kevin and Lynn Parker moved into their house in Alton Broad 20 years ago, they inherited a lawn and 3 trees.
But now their garden is barely recognisable after they transformed it into their own tropical little paradise. Hannah Pettifer went to meet them.
Many people get a lot of pleasure from their garden, putting a lot of time and effort into making it look just right. But behind this gate lies something you might not expect from a Suffolk garden. And behind this tropical paradise are Lynn and Kevin Parker. They've spent the last 20 years making their back garden into a living record of their holidays abroad.
Sometimes when we bought small plants back, like our travels when we've been to Greek islands, we've bought small palms back and different things, and people can't have even bought things back for us, like small seeds. We've tried to grow them and we grew them on, packets of seeds, and that, but you know, they just can't believe it. A lot of people, can they?
And it's not a bad job, considering this was what they started with. After planting 2 miniature palms, they got the gardening bug and now boast plants from as far afield as China, New Zealand and South America.
To me personally, this is my little paradise. This is my little chill-out zone. When you've been to work and that, this is what I've created. It gives me peace. Calm. It's calming, isn't it?
That's right,
When you've had a tough day.
Their tropical paradise may take hours each week to look after, but to them it's well worth the effort to bring a little bit of the Far East to the east of Suffolk. Hannah Pettifer, Anglia News, Alton Broad in Suffolk.
Beautiful, you could get lost in there.
Absolutely lost, right. A new archaeological dig has begun at a Roman town in Norfolk for the first time in 75 years. Parts of the site at Cases and Edmund were excavated between 1929 and 1935 after it was found by aerial photographs. Well, archaeologists believe the town was built on top of a major Iceni settlement, and they hope this new dig might establish its pre-Roman history. Right, next, it's been burning for 4 days, and tonight people living near the scene of a huge tyre fire in Cambridgeshire say the thick smoke is making their lives unbearable.
The fire at the depot in Littleport near Ely broke out on Friday, but crews are warning it could be weeks before it's fully extinguished, as Rhiannon Mills reports.
At the Elysian stables in Littleport, the horses are getting used to living in a shadow of smoke. Now neighbours to this, 2,000 tonnes of burning rubber, which show no sign of burning out.
It's awful. It is really bad. It's not great for the horses. I mean, down here we're still getting it obviously coming over the field, so everything's on antibiotics, you know. I mean, luckily we can get out of it, but they can't. They've got to obviously stay in it. But luckily nothing, you know, everything's safe, but it's just a kind of waiting game now for it to kind of stop.
The fire started at the Murfitts recycling plant on Friday afternoon. Around 50 firefighters were called out as the smoke spread for miles across fields and nearby villages. It's still not clear how it started, although it's destroyed most of the yard and everything in it. Today, just one fire engine was on site, but not here to hose down the flames. Instead, they're leaving it to burn itself out, believing that water could only make it worse.
We're in constant discussions with the Environment Agency. The advice we're getting is that to allow it to burn is probably the best course of action at the moment. We will be reviewing that, but by letting it will burn hotter and actually cleaner. And it sounds a bit of a cliche, but it will actually be cleaner and, in the long term, safer for the residents.
For the past 4 days, people who live and work nearby have had to put up with this smoke. And just to give you some idea of how bad they say it's been, well, this is a mask which has been worn by someone who works in a nearby garage, and you can see all of the dust that it's been gathering. And for some, that's really made it unbearable. At a nearby garage, they've decided to close for the rest of the week. While at the stables, horses like Ronnie here have had to move home to a new field further away from the smoke.
It's not obviously the best situation to be in, especially living in it, and obviously the horses are still breathing it in, but, you know, they are doing, I suppose, the best they can.
The fire service say that the clouds billowing off this blaze aren't hazardous, but they've also warned that it could be days or even weeks before this fire is fully out. Rhiannon Mills, Anglia News at Littleport in Cambridgeshire.
Now, it's the oldest and rarest breed of heavy horse, but work is underway to try to safeguard the future of the Suffolk Punch.
With numbers continuing to decline, the Animal Health Trust has teamed up with the Suffolk Horse Society to ensure the breed has a healthy future. Victoria Webb has more.
These two foals at Eastern Farm Park in Suffolk are incredibly precious. They're stallions of the future, helping to continue the long line of Suffolk punchers. It's a breed that's seen numbers continue to fall. Only 300 breeding horses are registered in Britain. With fewer of them, there's the risk that they're becoming closely related, which could lead to health defects.
And that's why scientists at the Animal Health Trust near Newmarket are carrying out genetic research to try to avoid these problems and help this breed survive.
They've teamed up with the Suffolk Horse Society, taking samples in the hope of eventually being able to tell breeders which crosses will give them the best outcome.
There's a real risk that it becomes inbred, particularly if one stallion is used more frequently because it's fashionable, because say it's a show winner. If you understand the genetics, then you can make breeding choices based on the genetics and reduce the risk of getting inbreeding which is too high for the animals to be healthy.
The remaining 300 breeding horses can be traced back to one horse from 1768. They're listed as critically endangered. Only the support of dedicated breeders has saved them from extinction.
They were the original tractor, and tractors are unfortunately a lot more efficient than the Suffolk horse. We're fortunate that there are a lot of dedicated breeders who are starting to work much harder on this, and obviously the society is taking it very seriously with these new partnerships. They are more of a hobby, certainly for us. We love to breed them, we love to see them, they're part of our heritage, but I can't see us going back to working the land with them anytime soon.
They may be an endangered species, but this cheeky little foal seems to be carefree, running off with part of our camera. With such a limited gene pool, it's important that breeders like Fiona can continue to bring in new bloodlines. The outcome of this project should help her to achieve that, ensuring a long-term future for this iconic breed. Victoria Webb, Anglia News.